Yesterday you said you accepted Bernie's apology and now you're attacking him. Why are you doing that?
Go.
Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President?
Right this way,
Why
sir.
attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Well, if I'm the girlfriend, it's one of those posts where it's like every girl I know is beautiful and owns her own podcast. And, blah blah blah, and the boyfriend eats doo-doo out of the toilet because he's stupid. He's a small dick. He's 3 years old.
Okay, guys, we got a whole backlog of stuff to get through here. So much tea has been brewing. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start? Should we start with the New York Times' hilarious double endorsement?
That was so good. I was thinking about it, and it's like it was one of the best outcomes because, like, yeah,
it's
it
perfect.
It would have been good, I guess, if they endorsed Bernie. It would have added like a few thousand more voters in like the VA primary or something. Like people give a shit about that. But this one's good because it hurts Biden, hurts Pete.
Yep.
Hurts Pete a lot.
Oh yeah.
It hurts Pete probably the most. Doesn't really add anything to Warren.
Not if it's split.
Yeah,
Because you can't vote for two people.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like I just sort of had a feeling that they were going to do something incredibly bird-brained, and what they came up with was vastly better than anything I could have hoped for.
Good.
Whereas, like, we're announcing first of all, they did it as a TV show, like LeBron's, like, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, fucking ESPN TV special,
Which I didn't know.
roundly hated by everyone when it happened.
Just like you think anyone cares that much about you fucking nerds sitting around a table.
So yeah, they announced it in a TV special, and I was like, I knew it was going to be pretty harebrained. But I was not expecting any, like, what they literally came up with is our endorsement, the girl reading this. You're perfect.
Yeah. It's great because it's a total microcosm of liberal fecklessness at every level.
It's beautiful.
It's like we are unable to make a clear endorsement because we don't want people to get mad at us. We don't want we don't want to get back. So we're just going to do something that is totally ineffectual and has no impact, but at least no one's mad. And that's the best we can hope for.
It's so perfect because the way they justified it is like, do it in our unusual, unorthodox move of endorsing two candidates, which defeats the entire purpose of an endorsement. It splits the vote between, like, it hurts both Warren and Klobuchar.
Yeah. Because everybody who loves the New York Times will spend Election Day staring at the page, their brains sparking like a malfunctioning robot.
Sir, you have to leave. The polls are closed. Oh, no, what am I... And then just writes and hits Steyer at the end of it.
Well, I mean, like, the Warren people should be happy, though. I mean, they were going to share the presidency with Sanders, I was told, and now they get to share it with Klobuchar. You got what you wanted,
that
right?
sharing project would not last long.
No,
the palace coup would be on day one.
Yeah, Warren's Scholastic Bowl vibes would crumble under the weight of Amy's bully field hockey player.
No, she would just, like, even if she was the VP, like on a Unity ticket, day one, she burst into the Oval Office like, "Get up, nerd!"
Yeah,
it would be like the was that incident in Nepal where like one member of the royal family killed like 40 of the other ones.
yeah.
But what they're really doing is they were signaling to people, "Look, we know there's two types of Democrats running right now.
Yeah.
And if you like the lefty ones, pick Warren, not Bernie, for the love of God. And if you like the right wing ones, well, I guess we're going to try to remind you about gender.
No, like
we're going to throw a gender card out there.
It was. I thought that they were going to be like our endorsement, the woman voter, and like they basically did that.
Yeah.
And as Matt, as you said, like the way they justified it is they said rather than picking one candidate, we're going to pick the two women that are still in the race, and we're going to justify it based on this. Like there are two lanes now. There's the more radical lane, and then there's the moderate. Lane. And like, these two candidates both embody the best of those two traditions or points of view. And like, we're just saying, we're going to leave it up to you. Mm-hmm. Which one do you like?
Go for it. Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, exactly. Again, so perfect because it maybe kind of helps Klobuchar, but like, okay, it hurts moderates overall because the people who are going to vote for Klobuchar are going to take votes away from Biden and Buttigieg.
Yep.
And it hurts Warren because, the 1,000 or so Pinocchio counters in Manhattan and Virginia, Maryland suburbs are going to just like their votes are going to be split between probably taken away from Warren to Klobuchar.
And also, there's just a general vibe of like she was the plan's candidate. She was the candidate who was pitching towards the sort of people who read the New York Times, and she couldn't even manage a full-throated endorsement from them. Like, what does that tell you about her strengths as a candidate? Like that they did not feel comfortable just picking her by herself. They had to have cover.
I do want to say though, how bad did Pete fuck up? Like we saw like a little bit of his fuck ups on camera. Like when they were like, Pete, did you like? They really set it up for him. They're like,
did you do the bread thing?
Yeah, Pete, did you do bread crimes? We know you didn't. Did you do bread crimes? And he's like, frankly, that's a load of ass, sir. He busted out the swears. He just went rat mode. They were basically like, Pete, we will endorse you if you don't turn into an imp freak and go nuts. And he was like, he like burrowed under the table and started biting their toes. They're like, all right, Pete.
He started chewing through the drywall in the New York Times building. No, but
Pete, please don't go imp mode. And he was already just hunching around the office with a pitchfork and laughing maniacally. He turned into the fucking Noid in front of all those beascotted reporters.
All of a sudden, there was lunchtime. The pizza's ruined instantly. He just snapped his fingers.
Yeah.
Oh man!
And I want to. Is there a video of the Klobuchar one? Because I feel like I know how it went.
There is. I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen any clips of it shared, so it probably wasn't very like.
It was pretty boring.
Boring, yeah.
They probably cut out like the part where she gets the endorsement.
Yeah.
Where she like the guy with the ass cut. She just fucking pulled him down to the floor and stepped on the back of his head.
And I mean, I bet they probably would have liked to endorse Biden, knowing that might actually have an impact.
That would have helped
Bernie
Biden
from the nomination, but he just showed up and was like, "Look, guys, I'm immortal. Okay, you strike me down, I'll rise more powerful than you can imagine." And they're like, "Okay, I guess we can't endorse the guy."
The Biden
who's like drinking mercury, like that one Chinese emperor who tried to live forever.
The Biden one was awesome because he was like, Now, see, look, you stand around a lagoon, you're gonna see a monster, and there was just you heard Mario, and he was like, what was that? And they're like, sir, that's your Nintendo Switch that you brought here. Oh yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, he brought.
What in the blazes?
That's the worst thing that can happen to you is being scared by your own phone while trying to get an endorsement for president.
By the way,
that's literally what happened to him. He was like, "What in the jumping Jehoshaphat was that?" And they're like, "Vice President Biden, that's your phone." He was like, "Oh."
I know you've been auditioning for this part for a while now on our show, but I do want to give a quick shout out to the E1 episode you did that was all Joe Biden's. It was 3 Joe Bidens.
Oops, all Biden.
And it was like, I listened to that, and it was like, I was laughing throughout the whole thing, but I don't remember like a single line or anything that was funny because it was like the purest like ASMR experience I've ever had.
I don't remember
and probably
recording
caused me brain damage for sure. Like if you seriously want to like really, really damage your mental health, but like in a pleasant way, I would highly recommend listening to the Joe Biden's episode of episode 1.
Oh yeah.
It was probably the most irresponsible thing I've ever put out in public.
Yeah, that's a Burroughs mind virus if ever there was one.
Well, it's irresponsible in that like if too many people listen to it, I think they will vote for him.
Yeah, probably. It makes him more likable than anything else. But I do. I don't want to spoil too much, but Andrew said that they want to do a 3-hour version.
Oh my god.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, talking about the New York Times dual endorsement, I do want to front load the reading series because it is connected to this. And you remember the other week where I said when the snake emoji thing was happening, I said liberals have all just morphed into Jordan Peterson now,
Yes.
and that they're like, they're talking about,
the evil,
the divine feminine and the, like the chaos in the snake in the garden.
Chaos dragon.
Chaos dragon in the garden. Continuing this theme, of course, is Lauren Duca writing in the Independent about the dual endorsement. And I just got to read some of this here. The headline is, in backing Liz Warren and Amy Klobuchar, the New York Times rejected toxic masculinity, as we all should. And then the subhead is, it's not about women or men. It's about a feminine way of approaching politics that politicians of all stripes have shown, including Andrew Yang.
Sure.
So
why not?
Okay, so he goes,
The Gamers' Rights candidate embodies the divine feminine. I got it.
on Tuesday, the New York Times editorial board released an op-ed titled, Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren are Democrats' top choices for president. The unusual choice seemed more an endorsement for women in general than either one of them in particular.
You know, when women are on the ballot, you got to vote yes.
Ladies, we
love the dames.
We love them.
If there was a referendum on women, I would be voting yes, women.
I've chosen to accept this as mainstream media's acknowledgement of the rise of the divine feminine.
Okay. All right. Now it's getting good. So the ayahuasca's kicking in.
I've chosen to accept this as mainstream media's acknowledgement of the rise of the divine feminine, which is sacred. Okay, here we go. Gender is, of course, a social construct. The divine feminine is beyond that binary, best understood as the energetic force of nurturing. Plenty of male-identifying individuals are in touch with this force, although women tend to be more likely to find their strength in the divine feminine, in part because of the way society commodifies the stereotypical responsibilities of sitcom motherhood, such as cooking, always being the one to remember when to buy toilet paper, and giving birth.
Yeah, those equivalent activities. Buying toilet paper and giving birth.
America, as it stands, is not even pretending to be a free country. We are living in an oligarchy structured by the hierarchy of the white supremacist patriarchy, and this is where toxic masculinity has led us, into the greedy depths of a ruthless individualism that only benefits those at the top.
That sounds like capitalism.
Yeah, that was kind of fire, though.
Yeah, she goes on to outline, the ways in which toxic masculinity has made it so that 10% of the United States citizens control 76% of the country's wealth.
Yeah, that sounds like capitalism again.
The most important way to see our deep need for the divine feminine is in the shape of our economic and justice systems. American greed is sustained by corruption and enforced by punishment. The United States has allocated about $989 billion on military spending this year. It costs between $31,000 and $68,000 to house an inmate, and yet there is supposedly a reasonable argument at the Democratic primary debates over whether considering healthcare as a human right might be too expensive.
Then that's why I'm supporting Amy
Yeah.
Who says you dogs deserve nothing. Drink out of toilet bowls.
Yeah. I'd love nothing more than to watch you die in a waiting room, you little rat.
I'm going to buy all the insulin and pour it into the garbage in front of you.
The shift to policies guided by unconditional love for the collective are also on offer from Bernie Sanders and in Andrew Yang's insistence on public policy aimed at developing happiness. I have made it clear that my heart beats for Elizabeth Warren, although I think both Warren and Sanders insist on equitable public power in a way that can further inspire the political awakening moment. For any self-identified Bernie bros reading this, I would note that I would be excited to support either Warren or Sanders in the general election. P.S. Please don't harass me.
Oh, there it is.
That said, I think it makes a difference that the person at the helm of this transformation is a woman, because of the lessons learned by anyone who has a female perspective on our crisis of toxic masculinity. The same could be more exclusively discussed in terms of race in this election if the Democratic Party weren't embarrassing themselves with not even a single black or brown candidate on the most recent debate stage.
What do you mean?
We've talked about
the
this.
Party.
It's not the party. It's the voters.
It's the
that
voters.
are
They're not giving them
themselves.
money or responding to them in the polls. That's who edited them out of it.
I mean, Joe Biden has said that he's a member of the black community.
And I, for one, I really like this because she's basically saying socialism is good, but we need to make it gibberish that is alienating and confusing and meaningless instead of directly addressing people's needs.
Women try to be president all the time, and when women try to buy toilet paper, men say snake. And when men say snake, women no run, and when women are eternity, they are mothers forever. So no, don't be mean. We can have all women.
Wesley Willis over here.
As going on here with that energy, as the daughter of a father.
This owns.
As the nephew of an uncle.
As the nephew of an uncle. As the daughter of a father, I feel compelled to honor the divine masculine.
Thank you. We really appreciate that, Lauren.
Big up to the fellas out there and their divine.
Dudes rock.
Yeah. I am closely in touch with mine. The divine masculine is best understood as an energetic force that is assertive and pragmatic. The divine masculine protects you and gets shit done. Elizabeth Warren has tons of that energy. No, she doesn't. I'm sorry.
She couldn't even get a single endorsement from the fucking New York Times.
If we are going to concede that there's this ludicrous gender binary exists in like the light and dark side of the force, and that you can be on the dark side of the force but have light aspects or whatever,
right,
and go on with this, like, I'm sorry, Elizabeth Warren does not exude or divine masculine energy.
Yeah. Like someone on the sidelines who's just sort of like encouraging you, which is very nice, but is the opposite of actually getting anything done.
The problem with masculinity is when it occurs as its shadow part. This is just Jordan Peterson. Yeah, this is pure Jordan Peterson.
This is mirror image Jordan Peterson, of course.
And again,
because he says that the divine feminine must be tamed and
we all have our sort of
down.
Jungian shadow self as well. Yeah. Toxic masculinity looks like this ongoing death rattle of the white supremacist patriarchy clinging to power. And of course, we see the most grotesque manifestation of this sickness in the form of that demonic sweet potato who keeps us on the verge of World War III because he cannot handle his own insecurity, which would be embarrassing if our lives weren't at stake. I think a woman is our best bet at beating that. I think using feminine pronouns for the most powerful person in the world could help correct our overriding tendency towards the toxic masculine. The rugged individualism brought to you by capitalism means we are often moved by the self-interest of greed instead of investing in love for ourselves and therefore the collective. We need a push towards nurturing and caretaking to move our society out of a shared hell defined by precariousness. I mean, I agree. Yeah. We need to prioritize public health and happiness to building abundance for the majority instead of sending our people into war, debt, and prison so that billionaires can continue to compensate for something. I agree. In my humble opinion, the divine feminine will continue to rise and ultimately defeat the white supremacist patriarchy no matter what. But it would certainly help the process along if our transformation is led by our first chance at the concept of a Madam President. I mean, again, like you diagnose the ills caused by capitalism, imperialism, but then as you said, Matt, describe it in possibly the most gibberish way imaginable.
In a way that any normal person would be like, oh, you're having an episode. I need to not look you in the eye or else I'm going to end up having to call the cops.
And, you know, as the son of a mother, like I appreciate for both the light and the dark side of the force.
Yeah.
And I think we need to, you know, bring both to bear. But like, you know, this mystification of describing, again, the problems caused by capitalism as problems of toxic masculinity. I mean, in this dialectic, there is a toxic femininity as well that is honed itself just as adeptly to exploiting people, going to war, and immiserating the vast majority of humanity.
Yeah, because you can make an argument that being in the position as a woman to launch a drone strike or, you know, deny or raise the price of a pharmaceutical is empowering to women who have not had that ability in the past. Or
that they're showing off their divine masculine traits in office, which would be like, killing people and starting wars and shit like that.
We all need to descend into the gender cave and do battle with our shadow gender selves and then emerge as whole people. It's like in Star Wars.
So that's the New York Times endorsement. Could not have gone better for us or anyone who supports Bernie Sanders, in my opinion. It was really good. But moving along, though, I just feel like we're, 11 days out from the Iowa caucus? Like, you know, we're getting ready to leave. We're leaving next week for Iowa.
Shipping off to Boston.
And I just feel like it's all happening now. It's all happening. Bernie Sanders has hit number one in a national poll for the first time ever. Is up by over 10 points in New Hampshire right now.
Oh, my stars.
And is looking very strong in Iowa. But I feel like the shit we've been talking about since the 2016 election, it's like everything that we have prophesied is coming true. Like we're living through our own visions of things to come. And now they are coming and they are happening. And that is, and by that, again, I mean, all of our friends crawling out of the woodwork to do the same shit they tried to do in 2016 to Bernie Sanders, but again, this time in an even dumber and less effective way. And I'm talking about, let's begin with Hillary Clinton popping up out of nowhere in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter to pump up her fucking Hulu documentary about her life and career to say
struggle, you might call it.
to remind everyone that nobody likes Bernie Sanders. And what he did to her is what he's doing to all women, and that there's a pattern with his behavior that is unmistakably sexist. But I'd just like to begin with the idea that Hillary Clinton is coming out to tell everyone that nobody likes Bernie Sanders. And this is an even more cretinous gaffe. Again, if you oppose Bernie Sanders, than her, accurate but huge shot in the foot moment of calling Trump supporters deplorables.
Yeah. She can't stop it. Her venom sac is always just filled to bursting, and she has to vent it, or else she will explode.
It is cool knowing she's just like fucking completely unhappy.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
she's
she
just
is miserable.
completely bitter. Like in like the last portion of her life, just fucking tumbling around the earth. Just fucking pointless. Just waking up angry, no matter what, no matter how much fucking money she has, no matter what. Just fucking pissed off.
So it says here, this is the Washington Post here. Hillary Clinton points to alleged sexism in Bernie Sanders' campaign. It's part of a pattern. So Hillary saw Liz Warren try this and just whiff entirely. And she's like, you know what? As we said, Liz doesn't have the heart to stick the knife in. I'm going to do it.
Speaking of which, there is a theory I've heard from multiple people in media, more than one, so that's the Watergate rule, I'm going with it, is that there is a theory that Hillary Clinton is the person who actually leaked the whole Sanders-Warren quote thing.
Really?
Yes, because there's people on the Karen Warren who are close to Warren who also are close to Hillary, and the theory is that she heard about it, and then she's the one who dropped it down to CNN, and it's like, that would be artistically perfect if it were the case.
So, Washington Post here. Hillary Clinton says in a new interview that she will do anything I can to defeat President Trump in 2020. But in the same interview, she savages Bernie Sanders and declines to
Do
say
anything, but not any actual
and declines
thing.
to say she would endorse or campaign for him if he is a Democratic nominee. I fucking hope she won't campaign for him.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. Thank fucking God.
And perhaps most notably, she repeatedly alludes to allegations of sexism against Sanders' campaign, linking it to the candidate himself. The interview with The Hollywood Reporter tears open still mending wounds from the protracted 2016 primary that pitted Clinton against the independent senator from Vermont. She goes, the interview coincides with a new documentary called Hillary, which is debuting at the Sundance Film Festival. She says here, he was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him, Clinton said. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. He was a career politician. It's all just
Not like me.
It's all just baloney, and I feel so bad that people got sucked into it. He goes, I'm not going to go there yet. This is Clinton's full quote. I'm not going to go there yet. We're still in a very vigorous primary season. I will say, however, that it's not only him. It's the culture around him. It's his leadership team. It's his prominent supporters. It's his online Bernie bros and their relentless attacks on
The bros.
their relentless attacks on lots of his competitors, particularly the women. And I really hope people are paying attention to that, because it should be worrisome that he has permitted this culture. Not only permitted, he seems to be very much supporting it. And I don't think we want to go down that road again, where you campaign by insult and attack. And maybe you try to get some distance from it, but either you don't know what your campaign and supporters are doing, or you're just giving them a wink and you want them to go after Kamala Harris or after Elizabeth Warren. I think that's a pattern that people should take into account when they make their decisions.
A pattern.
Okay,
a pattern in a culture,
Okay,
huh?
a pattern in a culture of high-profile supporters just looking the other way about their culture of
Abuse, you could
abuse
say.
of,
Yeah,
you could say, of women in particular.
Or girls.
Yeah, that graph there is so good, because she said it at the exact time that Harvey Weinstein's trial is kicking off in New York. And in the same interview, when asked about Harvey Weinstein, she said, how would anyone have known about
How
this?
can I know?
And
There
then
was
also-
nothing about it. Nothing.
It wasn't one of the biggest open secrets in Hollywood.
She says and then her genius political instincts, it just shows what a real killer she is. She says in the next line, he raised a lot of money for us. He raised a lot of money for everyone, including the Obamas. She ties herself and the Obamas as close to this fucking rape monster as is humanly possible, before saying, well, we didn't know. We just like to take his money.
Hillary is team player always. When she's drowning, she's gonna try to pull you down.
Oh
with
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm just imagining her at Zorro Ranch going through the internet going like, look at these Bernie bros. They keep calling me a bitch. I'm writing all these names down and I'm demanding that Bernie personally condemn them. And meanwhile, behind her, like Jeffrey Epstein has got a bib on and a fucking got a carving knife, and he's got a kid with a fucking apple in his mouth in front of him.
Hillary Clinton was tweeting that from the Zorro Ranch, kicking up her feet on a child furniture.
Yeah. One of Jeffrey Epstein's clones went up to her and was like, "Yo, dope interview."
So I mean, it is so fucking rich to hear this coming from Hillary Clinton, who, let's be honest, has had a lifelong association with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, serial sex criminal Bill Clinton.
And also this idea that, like, you can't just campaign by insult and attack. We talked about this so many times before, but the 2008 primary was one of the most, like, everyone who thinks that this current Democratic primary is vicious, this is such kid gloves, high-minded, focused on the issues type of shit. 2008, they were like, Obama worships Muslimic moon god.
Yeah, Hillary ran the campaign. They accused Bernie of running in 2016 to the highest degree I've ever seen him run in my lifetime.
How like Bernie needs to be responsible for what his fucking followers on people who say they like him on Twitter, like they're anonymous. It's a picture of Goatsy in the avatar. Meanwhile, Sidney Blumenthal was the guy who started birtherism. I'm pretty sure she knows his name and has his email.
No, yeah. Do you remember when Hillary, like, when she wouldn't stop running after it was mathematically impossible? And she's like, well, what if someone kills him?
She said she used RFK.
The RFK.
Yeah.
Like, what if
he's walking through the kitchen at the Ambassador Hotel?
What if someone answers my Craigslist ad?
She was just wandering around Pennsylvania in a Carhartt jacket, vomiting into the pocket, and just being like, "I'm not black." Like, it was awful. It was a fucking awful, hateful primary.
Okay, this is like Bernie Bros 2.0 is happening right now, because for a year now, I've been hearing from like Democrat brain people that, like, as soon as Bernie really gets vetted, then like he is done for. There's shit out there that the real raw shit that you people wouldn't fucking believe. And lo and behold, it's all stuff that we heard about in 2016 and no one gave a shit about. That, like, they're shaking the vial and slamming it against the table so many times to try to just get the last few fucking just like little grains out of that fucking thing. It's not working, so they're going to do this again. And some of the people that they're auditioning to do this Bernie bro shit is so fucking perfect. Did you guys see that former Breitbart fucking barnacle, Kurt Bardella? Bardella comes out with just being like, Bernie Sanders supporters remind me of Breitbart and Trump supporters because I used to be one.
Yeah, I worked for Breitbart until Captain Crunch came to me in a dream and denounced racism at the age of 40. Now I'm here to tell you your boss should be able to kill you for decency.
So I just just a little quick hit on this guy Kurt Bardella. Someone found that he is a character that appears in that sort of juicy DC gossip book, This Town.
Oh yeah,
who wrote that? Was it
that guy?
Kurt Anderson or something?
No, what the fuck's his name?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like it was the juicy like DC like a profile of
it was the cocktail party thing.
Yeah, like the hagfish that live in that fucking city. So like
they're writing a book about me and my discords that's like that.
Mark Leibovich was his name.
Counter-Strike games.
This is Kurt Bardella's appearance in the DC cocktail party Goss slam book, This Town. Kurt Bardella is not a guy you can easily root for. He activates your radar and not in a good way. He laughs too much and too loud. He hangs out in cigar bars. When he talks with you, you suspect you are being worked. In a city where even the most rabid striving must be cloaked in nonchalance, Bardella never pulled this off or even tried. He was not shy about sharing on his Facebook page his ultimate ambition to become the White House press secretary. He was not reticent in acknowledging a danger of his brash style. I'm never that far away from blowing myself up completely, he told me once. It's all part and parcel of my inferiority complex. But generally, Bardella added, He was pretty good about channeling his demons in a way that benefited his boss, Representative Darrell Issa, Republican of California.
Social justice warrior Darrell Issa.
Bardella evinced a desperation that made him more honest than people in Washington typically are. Or maybe transparent is a better word, because he did seem to lie sometimes, or spin, at least to me. Even as he stuck out among Ernest Hill deputies, something about Bardella wonderfully embodied the place. So he was a jittery wreck working long into the night in the service of pleasing Darrell Issa, or else. So yeah,
Dude, your life is dope.
But no, Felix, you pointed this out. Where like they're sending out all the contracts now about like who wants this hit, who wants to do the Bernie Bro piece in 2020, and Felix, you've noticed that like they're all guys who just do like recaps of video games, and like they're all just coming out now to be like, y'all not ready for this conversation about Bernie though.
Yeah, everyone for the Daily Beast who like I don't know works in like the fucking basement of One World Trade, being like, Stephen Colbert has a moment with fucking Nigella Lawson for the past 6 years. Guys who like their family trust spent $500,000 to get them this degree. They're like, all right, you can write one op-ed. And the op-ed is always like, Bernie Sanders acts like an asshat again. Like, I saw an oppo dump today that was it was definitely like a Biden oppo dump, right? Where it was
gotta be.
Right, where it was like, oh, Bernie Sanders compared workers in Vermont to slaves. And the entire article was that he like evoked wage slavery.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, would put him in the same company as Frederick Douglass, who said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
No, wage slavery is a slur now.
Yeah, no, I mean...
And that was by that Daily Beast guy, Scott Bixby. He's the next absolute clown I want to shout out. This is in Daily Beast this week. Bernie bros are loud, proud, and toxic to Sanders' campaign.
Damn right.
Yeah, they're so toxic that he's a leading national poll for the first time ever.
He's going to win, man. He's going to win. It's okay. Yeah, no, I mean, they sent the Keystone Cops to kill John Wick.
No, yeah. No, taking this contract in 2020 is like the scene in Heat where the cops show up as they're coming out of the bank and they're like, doo-doo-doo, time to make an arrest.
Yeah. I think they got caught with their pants down. I think they really thought Warren was gonna.
Yeah,
she was gonna solve the problem for them.
Right. They thought like
we don't have to take a firm anti-left line, but we can avoid Bernie by all.
Well, I don't even think they thought Warren was gonna win. They thought that Warren was gonna effectively grief Sanders' campaign.
Yeah.
To make it so that neither she nor him could win. But what it turned out was her supporters aren't really his. And she actually split Biden and Buttigieg's support. And I think they thought this would kind of be settled by now. Should have given Diamond Joe more Dexys.
No, but you're
really
right. Like,
how you solve this.
They were asleep at the wheel in 2016. And they've done it again in 2020. And now it's January. Like I said, less than 2 weeks before Iowa. He's going up, up, up in every single poll and indicator.
Nowhere to go, but up.
He's going up and Biden is going down. Beep. And there's so many times like we've joked about this. Now they're just like, oh fuck. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Get Bixby on the case with the Bernie bro shit. So let me just read a little from Bixby here. Senator Bernie Sanders has called their behavior disgusting. Would-be supporters of the Vermont Independent have cited them as the reason they can't endorse them. The guy he's referring to there is John Legend.
Yeah.
That's who he's talking about.
That would have been
if you lose John Legend.
That would have been a huge get. I mean, you think Joe Rogan's big? John Legend is in every H&M dressing room in the country.
His campaign has even privately apologized to rivals for online pylons that cross the line into open harassment. And still, the Bernie Bro army marches on.
Oh, damn right.
Straight to Berlin. That's where he's at. The internet has been perhaps the Sanders campaign the most useful tool for organizing the candidate's most fervent fans, whose ride-or-die loyalty to Sanders has long outlasted his first campaign for president. But like Star Wars, Rick and Morty, and Taylor Swift before him,
this is like your
Sanders
toy, Scott.
is grappling with how to channel the best parts of that support, the engine behind his massive rally crowds and commensurate fundraising numbers, as he is sequestered on Capitol Hill for the impeachment trial of Donald Trump, while discouraging a toxic wedge of fandom that threatens to distract from his campaign and turn off potential supporters. That fucking paragraph is so So perfect, Matt. Because Matt, you're 100% right about this. These people could not be more not honest, transparent, like Kurt Bardella. That they view all of this as a TV show.
Yes, it's their stories.
And like when he talks about like the fandoms of Taylor Swift, Rick and Morty, and Star Wars, like Bernie Sanders is dealing with this same problem. Oh, you know those three things that are hugely popular in mainstream culture?
Yeah, their problem is that certain people are performatively annoyed by people who like them. It has no impact on their cultural
One way to avoid that problem is to not be on Twitter 18 hours a day.
Well, yeah.
But I know that's difficult. I know.
Well, see, the thing is that like part of this is their aestheticization of politics, and the other of it is because they totally understand things through Twitter and being online. They honestly think that the Bernie bro thing is why Hillary beat Bernie last time. If you ask them, why do you think Hillary was able to hold off Bernie, they will say, well, we were able to remind people that his supporters were a bunch of bros. The reason Bernie lost at the end of the day is that he didn't run a real campaign until it was too late.
Yes.
Because he didn't think he could win. He was there to push her to the left and get issues out there. And they didn't think, oh, fuck, we could do this until like Iowa happened. And by that point, it was way too late to build a national organization that could make any kind of headway in later states. And so they got blown out in a lot of places.
Pulled off some very surprising upsets, too.
And if that fucking campaign had lasted like a couple, when you look at the polling trends, if that campaign had been a little longer, i.e. if he had actually started campaigning a little earlier, he could have fucking caught her. But in these guys' heads, they're tweeting about Bernie bros all day to their other idiot hysteric media friends is what fucking beat Bernie.
Bernie with a skeleton organization came within 9 points of Hillary in Cook County, one of the Death Stars of the modern Democratic machine. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Like, look at what they had to do to fend him off in New York. Just like activate every scumbag machine politics trick they had here to make sure he couldn't win.
Going on here, Bixby writes, when Senator Elizabeth Warren accused Sanders of telling her in a private meeting that he didn't believe that a woman could defeat President Donald Trump in 2020, the Massachusetts senator feed was deluged with a plague of snake emojis, even as Sanders called for a de-escalation in hostilities. After former presidential nominee Hillary Clinton doubled down on comments in an upcoming documentary that nobody in Congress likes Sanders, the number of tweets calling her a bitch skyrocketed to new highs, according to an analysis by the Daily Beast. That just means he searched the term bitch on Twitter and was like, I'm seeing a spike in traffic here.
Yes. By the way, I forgot to say this earlier. That whole nobody likes Bernie thing, it's so awesome that she said nobody likes him because obviously she was referring to in Congress. But in her mind, those are literally the only people who matter.
Right. And you know what the American voter hates? A brash outsider.
Yeah, who is hated by Washington.
Yeah,
they love Congress.
No. This is what is so fucking. What I love so much about it is like their big hit on him, the closing case. They're pulling out all the stops. Is that nobody in Congress or the U.S. Senate likes him?
Those wildly unpopular institutions that regularly like pull behind toenail fungus.
All right, so he goes on to use the example of John Legend, who had to tell the Bernie Bros to quit the
multi-millionaire Grammy-winning artist whose life resembles yours in no way.
Yeah. The guy who makes music for waiting rooms.
Yeah. The guy whose music you hear at the dentist's office. So it goes here. Last week, performer John Legend cited Bernie Bros, who, though branded with the pejorative Bernie Bros, are in no way limited to just his male fans. So that just means like that huge number of young women who also support Bernie Sanders. Yeah, they're Bernie Bros too.
not just women. I mean, it is interesting. Remember all the articles about how Bernie had no black support in 2016, which was just, I mean, like we talked about, the kind of the result of like a lack of name recognition and not running a real campaign until it was too late. Well, Elizabeth Warren, just dog shit. Dog shit black support. None. Like
Pete Buttigieg even worse. And it's like, no articles about how this means she's racist? Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. So, but same to just how a lot of those bros are actually women. A lot of those bros are black or they're anyone but white men. They're anyone but nothing about that. So they're doing quite the disservice to Sanders as a reason he was backing Warren's candidacy. Try not to drive people away with your nastiness, Legend tweeted. I will happily vote for him if he wins the primary. Chill. In response, some users replied with the poop face emoji.
Oh no! Oh no!
They are, like I said, this is fiend shit. This is licking the baggie when you're fucking like it's 5 a.m. in the morning. Like it's real bad.
Yeah, no, they're jonesing. It's not working as well as it used to.
Moving on here, like the other thing that we were talking about last week is like when the snake emoji gate was happening and the CNN did their like ludicrous assist for Warren at that fucking debate.
Oh boy!
Like, you know, Matt, I know you were concerned at the time because it seemed like whether this works or not, which it clearly didn't.
It did not.
Hugely
No
backfired.
one gave a shit.
No, not just didn't give a shit. I think it really turned a lot of people off Warren.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of Warren supporters who actually moved to Bernie. Not a lot, but like enough that like Warren is trending down ever since this thing happened.
I mean, if you earnestly do care about the future of the country, you know, to use a pompous and kind of empty phrase, but the way people think about it, and you know, you're struggling with who to support, and somebody comes up with this fucking ticky-tacky bullshit that has nothing to do with any actual issue facing anyone's life, how could you not be like, oh, this is what you're gonna do? This fucking bullshit? This is a court intrigue horseshit that like the Clintons do.
No, but I know you were concerned that like it just meant that you know, the real enemy, Joe Biden,
Right, that was
is
my
sort
concern.
of is skating away when like, you know, this is the moment when that like everyone should, who, you know, it at least claims to be interested in defeating him should be training their fire on, you know, his record, on his long public record of seeking to means test, adjust, or let's be honest, cut Social Security.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the thing. That I'm not even worried about that anymore because it like what's happened is that the Sanders campaign has started counterpunching. I was worried for a second when Zephyr Teachout wrote that thing about how Biden and his family are corrupt.
Yeah.
And Sanders apologized for calling them corrupt.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have done that because they are manifestly openly corrupt. And I'll read another article in a second about that. But it has been so incredible to watch all of the Pinocchio counters. All of the fucking DC media people who fact check this stuff or have to talk about it have to go out of their way to pretend like Biden hasn't had a 20 to 30 year career in public life, going on TV every other week, bragging about how he was one of the Democrats who would work with Republicans to cut Social Security.
Yes.
And let's not forget also that Obama, when he was vice president, tried to do exactly that in a grand bargain with the Republicans. And guess, you know who stopped that shit from happening? Not just the Republicans because they were too crazy, but Bernie Sanders has been standing up against, for the same time period, Bernie Sanders has been standing up consistently against any attempt to cut or downsize Social Security in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Biden has been loudly banging that drum back when this was the best, coolest thing you could do in Washington.
Oh, yeah, they love
He was
that
going
shit.
on saying, I'm happy to touch that third rail. I think he did, and his brain has been scrambled ever since then.
I'll French that third rail, son.
Yeah, no, he went on Meet the Press with Tim Russert, and like he just grabbed the hold of a fence, and then like his body silhouetted out in and out of a skeleton. And then it was just smoke came out of his ears.
That was his Dr. Wilmington moment. That's when he reconstituted himself with pomade and Nippy's peppermint delights.
It's 1957. I'm at the pool. Corn Pop's giving me the eyeball again.
So yeah,
It's 1985. I'm doing a beer bong with Strom Thurmond.
It's 1962. I'm driving a big car around Wilkes-Barre. I'm looking for the local Portuguese mafia, telling them to knock it off.
Oh, that's what I remembered from the ASMR Biden's episode. The shit Branson kept saying about long cars. And he's like, we drive our long car to the beach and see how deep we can get it into the water. Me and my friend Tippy Toe would drive our long car to the beach. No, so like, you know, I saw this and like, you know, you mean like it's infuriating. I feel like I'm clawing my eyes out seeing everyone in the press try to pretend that like Joe Biden didn't try to cut Social Security.
Or that they liked him when he was doing that.
They were all cheering him
They thought
on.
it was great. They thought it was the best thing. It's like this guy. He's like Toby Ziegler on the West Wing. He's willing to have the political strength. He's a profile in courage because that's what that means. Kennedy invented that, by the way.
Yeah.
The profile in courage from his book. Basically, everyone in that book is someone who had the courage to stand up to the concept of like collective justice in favor of proceduralism and vested interests, like Grover Cleveland against the strikers and the fucking asshole who wouldn't impeach Andrew Johnson. And now they still hold that. Like, yeah, people like Social Security, but that makes it kind of craven to support a thing people like, even when we're in a democracy. Real leadership is saying, no, you don't get that. You get means testing. You get chain CPI.
That's the clob gang.
That's the
right
clob.
there. That's the
Yeah.
clob.
That's why I have a soft spot for the clob, because the clob is the only one who's really embodying the spirit of like establishment DC wisdom of like what it means to lead. It means to bludgeon people away from what their stupid snout-like piggish desire for candy and give them the healthy food they need, like not like having to eat dog food when they're retired.
But here's the thing, though. Despite Sanders apologizing for calling the Bidens corrupt, he did not apologize for saying that Joe Biden's record on wanting to cut Social Security is absolutely clear and is a huge mark of comparison between the two of them.
Yeah.
I was worried about that for a second, but again, I'm not anymore because Biden has spent the last week just, listen, Mac, they're lying. They're lying when they're just flatly denying what's obviously true to everyone. And Jacob Bacharach pointed this out today, and I think he's absolutely right. The fact that he's going around for like weeks just saying, I've never tried to cut Social Security. It's not me. I would never do it. And just saying it over and over again, like it ties him to the issue. It's just like a fucking anchor around his neck, throwing him overboard. Like, and it's just that's why he's sinking, because it's so fucking obvious. Or like, even if he's denying it, the question on everyone's mind is like, everyone's head is like, did he try to cut Social Security?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, like Biden, when he announced, I thought he would maybe be this unstoppable juggernaut, but you've really seen down the stretch why he never even fucking came close before.
Yeah.
We forgot that Joe Biden choked so many presidential campaigns.
Oh
in the
my God.
past.
Some of the worst ever. He in 2008 he finished with 0.9% of the vote in Iowa and then dropped out. And in 1988 he had perhaps the worst presidential race ever, in that he got busted for plagiarizing a speech from Labor leader Neil Kinnock in the UK, who was a huge loser. So it's like you're topping off of the dumb kid in class. What are you doing? And then having two brain hemorrhages. Not kidding. That's a bad campaign.
Okay. I think after this is all said and done, that we should make the Bidens the royal family. Of
Yes.
Yes.
I want them in. I want them around. I just don't want them to have any power.
Yeah, well, because I mean, they would be much better show than House Windsor. Just
awful
dog
boring.
shit.
Yeah.
Meghan
Meghan Markle refused to concede to the Queen on St. Swithin's Day.
I call her Meghan Marble.
But because she makes me lose mine. But yeah,
I'd like to play some jacks with her, Mac. Tell you that. Play that much now.
See Meghan Markle, see her around, you say that woman, she belongs at the head of the assembly line. You know what I'm saying, Mac?
I'll tell you, she's the type of girl that bowls strikes every time.
Yeah,
and even when she doesn't, she'll pick up the spare. All right, well,
but yeah, like I like because it would be like they're a fun, dramatic family. Joe Biden, it would be like actually sending a dog to a farm, just sending him around to like,
and then Hunter's going around, and then he gets to be the king, and he'll be like that swag king of Thailand.
Yes,
he has the giant back tattoo,
and wears wife beaters, and his blasting cigs coming off the royal airplane, dude.
It would rule. But the problem is, like, the solution here. The problem is, then all the MAGA hogs would be mad because they want the Trumps to be the royal family. So
I'd be fine with that. Too.
I mean, if they could be some sort of like dual monarchy, like Austria-Hungary or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And just have them be like two houses, where they both do like dueling public rituals and have dueling like scandal sheets about the various goings on. And then every one of these like bird brains could just focus all their energy on that.
yeah,
That's the TV show that people
That's
want to
what they
watch.
like.
It's perfect. Yeah,
And then we could have like an actual government doing the fucking making socialism, and they wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, if you're like one of those guys who's like, he's fed up recapping Colbert and James Corden, you could become a royal watcher.
Oh my
for
God.
the two royal families of America. It's perfect.
Oh my God.
It's Bernie's first make work program.
Yeah, and all those like Q psychos, they would love to just be like, what's Barron wearing to the cotillion?
Imagine the first time Hunter and Don Jr. joust.
Oh my God! Oh my god!
This is such a good idea.
Okay,
That's the best idea we've ever had.
Okay, speaking of Barron, I got to bring this up. So he was photographed recently, and my boys, he's sprouting up.
He's huge.
He's
He's
the
like
biggest-
6'5".
It's like Donald hates him because
God.
he loves tall. He loves it when people are tall.
big guys.
And he never talks about how big his son is.
Never does.
No, he doesn't. But he's reedy. You know what I mean?
Well, he's afraid he's going to eat him.
My favorite thing, that I saw about this was like the photo of them. They're walking to like Marine One, and Barron's just there.
Lumbering around.
Exactly.
Goon.
That guy. I think he writes for the Federalist. He's like one of these ex-military psychos. Jesse Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
He had a tweet about that, and he was like, "Wow." He's like, "Barron's going to be a power forward in college. Girls, watch out. He's going to slay when he gets a chance." And it's like, I love to fantasize about the president's son getting pussy.
And another Federalist article, remember, where they yelled at Barron for not being formally dressed enough?
That was Daily
That's
Caller.
literally what happened to Meghan Markle.
Meghan McCarkle.
Meghan McMarkle.
Meghan McMarkle.
Okay, I hate that I know this, but that was a Daily Caller article.
Okay, but still, it's like it was weird because it was a right-wing guy.
Yeah.
But that's because they're invested in the pageantry.
Exactly.
Let them just focus on that.
I got to say, when Barron gets to college and he posts a starting power forward, D1, he's going to get so much more pussy than Eric and Don Jr.
Absolutely.
Whose sex lives I also fantasize about. I also project onto
I
them.
think it's funny that he looks at Barron and it's like, that's a power forward, and not like, oh, he might have a promising career in esports. That's probably what Barron's thinking.
Yeah.
I do hope that, though, when they have this dual monarchy, that he does join the lists, because he would be like a Gregor Clegane style, the mountain that rides.
Oh my god! And then Hunter will have to like legitimize one of his bastards to duel him.
Yes.
One of his
my God.
This is
Hunter has
awesome.
so many natural born sons.
So many
He's Robert
natural
Baratheon. He's Robert Baratheon. Yeah. He's just all around Flea Bottom, Kentucky. Just tons of boys who naturally wear aviators and can swing a crack pipe.
Okay.
He has the blood
All
of the dragon.
All right. Felix, you're going to like this, though. This is next. I mean, like, to the question of the Biden family's obvious corruption, and that now, by the way, has been placed thoroughly out of bounds for even like mentioning, or like, this is against unity, but like all this shit will come up because like they are 1,000% crooked.
What do you mean?
Okay, here we go.
You don't. Okay, you've never heard of someone following the career path of being kicked out of the military for drugs and then being given $750,000 a year by a foreign energy company on their own merit?
Was it the Chinese government gave him the black opal from Uncut Gems just as a present? Like,
Yeah.
all right,
That always happens when you're kicked out of the military for drugs.
all right, so
that feel when?
This was something that was like sort of skated under the radar. It's from August of last year in Politico, a piece called Biden Inc. by Ben Schreckinger. And this, again, I do not remember this piece at all, but this was in August of last year. It begins like this. You're going to love this, Felix. The day the Bidens took over Paradigm Global Advisors was a memorable one. Just the day Paradigm Global Advisors fell to House Biden.
Oh, what a great conquest.
This is like when King's Landing fell.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
what
no,
happened
this
to,
Robert's Rebellion,
Yeah.
Joe's Rebellion.
I also like the name of that company. It might as well
Paradigm
just be,
Global
just like
Advisors.
laundering money incorporated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thinking about Monty Python and Terry Jones just passing, this just reminds me of the beginning of Meaning for Life when they have that corporate raider sketch.
Yes.
Yes,
Blasting
That's
filing cabinets at each other.
Yeah, that's what the Paradigm Global Investments. they were the old fuddy-duddy firm.
In the late summer of 2006, Joe Biden's son Hunter and Joe's younger brother James purchased the firm. On their first day on the job, they showed up with Joe's other son, Bo, and two large men, and ordered the hedge fund's chief of compliance to fire its president, according to a Paradigm executive who was present. After the firing, the two large men escorted the fund's president out of the firm's Midtown office, and James Biden laid out his vision for the fund's future. Don't worry about investors, he said, according to the executive who spoke on the condition of anonymity, citing fear of retaliation. We've got people all around the world who want to invest in Joe Biden.
This is the fucking grocery store from Casino. Anyway, so like all these people just want to buy my brother's influence, and my nephew's here, and they're just gonna give us money just because he's gonna be president. A quid pro quo, you might say.
I'll tell you what. If it is Paradigm Global Investors, I'll put the shovel in their freaking head. Oh, what the fuck? What? I said frickin'. I said frickin'. There's just some FBI guy writing down notes. Biden, family, Hunter, Paradigm Global Investing.
Can we? I mean, this is a story of like naked corruption and influence peddling, but I do want to point out I like that Hunter did it with his uncle.
Yeah, Uncle Magic, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just going on there. And fuck, man. Like I said, like I just feel like all the things you said are coming to pass, and we're really living to see it. But also, I mean, like again, polls. We've said like don't get too excited or too despairing about them. But if you look at them in every conceivable way, everything is trending in the direction of
The
Bernie
trends
Sanders.
are clear and undeniable.
And
Not only if you accept the fucking theory of change Bernie, then his support is by definition undercounted, which means that it could be things could be going even better than they appear.
Absolutely.
And it could not have also worked out even better just in terms of like the rivals he has, like Warren and Buttigieg in particular, have really like if they weren't there, like I think Biden really would be like crushing it. Like he'd be running away with it.
Absolutely. That was my fear. But they like Warren's pivot to the center that prevented her from griefing Bernie.
Yeah.
That's like
They're all cannibalized the same group of voters.
I think
and then you got, God bless him, Tom Steyer out there spending $500 billion on ads, which just leads that people who aren't paying attention are like, who's the guy on TV?
There's now two big profile moments in the last week or so of Tom Steyer just blatantly clout sharking Bernie Sanders and just trying to be photographed with him, seen with him, liked by him, and Bernie just keeps going, yeah, sure, okay. All right.
I like how Steyer is like in business just like fucking shark. Like profits off of the lowest of human misery, like drug addiction, private prison, just everything bad. He made his
the
money.
Apocalyptic fossil fuel economy.
Yeah, and then but interpersonally, he's like, sometimes I wonder if I say hello too quietly, or maybe just people ignore me. Like, it's just like it's so funny.
But he's spending $100 million to do politics fantasy camp. He's like Kramer going to see the Yankees. It's like because billionaires can't buy Bernie. They can't buy a $30,000 rubber chicken dinner to go and see him on the circuit because he doesn't do those kind of fundraisers. You literally have to be running to president to meet him. So it's like, all right, I'll do that. How much could that possibly cost? What, 1 month's worth of interest on my fucking fortune? Sure.
And like I said, less than 2 weeks out from Iowa, which is like really like I've described it before. This is the skeleton key that could unlock everything for Bernie.
It really could.
And things are looking good there. Like I said, all my young Chapo killers out there in Iowa right now, just keep killing it.
Keep doing it.
Pick up the fucking phone. Pick up the phone. But that, like, I think you could see a scenario in which Elizabeth Warren finishes like third or fourth in Iowa, but Buttigieg does better and then just keeps going. And I'm like, Buttigieg is just going to leech support away from Biden.
Oh, yeah.
And then the best thing is Buttigieg has no path after Nevada.
Nope.
None.
It's over. It's fucking over.
All he can do is prevent anybody but Bernie from winning those early states.
Yeah. The more black voters meet Buttigieg, the more they fucking hate him. It's done. It's done after a while.
Yeah. And
also Bernie really closing the gap in South Carolina, too.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. If he could honestly, coming off 3 straight wins, he could actually win South Carolina.
If he
That's
wins,
not outside the realm.
If he wins South Carolina, it's over.
Oh, it's done.
It's completely over.
Yeah, no. Super Tuesday would be a rout. It would be a coronation.
And it would if for them to take California away from him after that.
Yeah.
It would be like
he's already up.
He's already up by 5 or 10 points.
No,
every poll one in California he's been up that I've seen in the last 2 months.
Yeah, Joe Biden would have to personally go in wearing different hats to vote for himself after that.
But yeah, and no, again, we've talked about this before, but I'm sorry to I know they're probably not listening to this show, but the Warren supporters out there, there is no path for her. So at this point,
over.
It's
she can't win.
It's over for her. So if you claim to care about her plans or the agenda that you supposedly think is so important that she enact and regulate and just keep us safe with her divine masculine energy, what at this point is more likely, her instituting those plans or Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
And at this point, you're just cutting your own
I know
throat.
we might be a little far to the left for some of you, but hey, isn't politics about compromising?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Getting half a loaf over a full one if that's what's available.
Maybe sometimes you can't get your first choice.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to suck it up.
Yeah.
And I mean, their agendas in politics are identical. So
I mean, that's true.
shouldn't
They
be
have
difficult.
identical views.
And I hate to bring this up, but it's just like really important for me to have a Jewish president. I know you do have trouble understanding that, but you know.
So that's the Democrats, but I really would. I think we should switch gears a little bit, and I do want to talk a little bit about Trump, and the impeachment thing is like in high gear right now. Could not care any less at all about any of this.
Nope.
I've tuned it out entirely. Honestly, Virgil has gotten more people mad at him than maybe ever before.
Seriously.
Which is saying a lot just simply by joking that I don't care who Lev Parnas is.
Yeah.
He's
People
gotten
went
so mad at him.
People
because
love
of that.
Lev Parnas or hate him. I'm not sure.
What I
They
can know
feel
is that they
strongly about
love
him.
he's a beloved character on their favorite TV
Yeah,
show.
that's
and
the-
they hate it when you say you don't know who he
Right.
is.
And that's the thing. It's like, no matter, look, if you don't like Lev Parnas, you're saying his name. He's winning. And that's why he's on the impeachment show.
And
he's never getting voted off.
is the impeachment show. The Democrats they're putting out their bulletproof shifty shift. And you know what? I got to say here, a big problem for the Democrats, at least the House Democrats, is that Adam Schiff is the guy quarterbacking all this. Because I'm sorry, he looks weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
He's got weird
sounds
bug eyes.
He sounds untrustworthy. I'm sorry, he's Shifty Schiff.
He
That's
is.
all Trump has to do. Shifty Schiff.
And
And you know what?
You look at this bug-eyed creep, who, by the way, is basically a fucking subsidiary of Raytheon, just prattling on about how you have to fight Russia and Ukraine or else
That
you have
is-
to fight
the-
him here.
his
And
entire-
it's like, yes, this guy, I trust him.
Yeah,
of what little I saw,
genuine
and this is
actor.
why I feel totally justified in ignoring and making fun of everyone who cares about this shit.
Yeah.
The Democrats' opening pitch in this, the most important thing that's ever happened in our republic, is that Trump did bad because he undermined our ally in their war against Russia.
Yeah.
And that we should be going to do more war with Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look at I've just on a lark, I think I'm watching The Irishman in segments, and I got done with 1 3-hour chunk, and I was like, all right, time to go to bed. And I read up a little bit on impeachment, and it's like, oh, some of the shit in here is crazy. Like, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he did wild
right,
crimes.
it was like a bunch of like completely square-shaped awful men trying to like kill a U.S. ambassador. But the problem is, like, for most Americans, is like, all right, you did this before.
Yeah.
This isn't the same thing, but like to most Americans, didn't you do this thing before?
Yeah.
Like, didn't you do the Russia-Ukraine thing before?
Yeah.
And just nothing happened.
Yeah.
And it was boring, and they didn't really get anything.
Again, like throughout all of this, his crimes are like astonishing.
Oh, yeah.
And, just openly all out there, and like he's even now bragging. He's like, I'm not worried. We have all the evidence. We're not going to show it to them.
I know, it's
They're
amazing.
hiding it." He's like the Republicans. They have the good evidence, but they're hiding it. They're hiding it from
Think of
me.
how much if Nixon is in hell, just like fucking spitting pissed.
Yeah.
Thinking, I could have just burned the fucking tapes. And
Yeah.
said, what are you going to do about it?
I mean, well, the thing is, the Senate and how Congress is a little different back then.
Well, that's the thing, is that they were controlled by Democrats.
exactly. But also the Republican Party. I don't think even at the height of
He had supporters like Reagan, but a big chunk of Republicans deserted him because there
Yeah.
were this
'Cause-
belief in
yeah.
these like institutions. Adorable.
again,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's such what a cute time.
so just a bunch of balding, as you said, balding square Ukrainian men did possibly contemplate assassinating a U.S.
Amazing.
ambassador.
Yeah.
I mean, I
on
don't think.
behalf of Rudy Giuliani.
Dude, so
I
fucking
love
funny.
that. I love that. Like, this is like, you do this guaranteed, like, top of the most wanted list forever.
Oh, yeah.
Just a life in hiding, just for this other square shaped imbecile who's like, I accidentally called you on my kid's iPad again. Sorry.
Yeah.
I accidentally recorded our entire conversation.
And
My
if
mistake.
they do it, we're like what? They're gonna get like a 10% share of a Planet Fitness in Poughkeepsie. Like that's the big brass ring at the end of this.
No, they would like. First of all, I think many of the co-conspirators in this case live around me in Queens, and they're gonna get like 10% of a fruit market where all the mangoes are rotting. They're gonna get the last 50 jewel pods in North Queens, the last 50 mango jewel pods. Any New York sports club you want to go to in the Flushing or Myspeth area, it's yours.
They're gonna get all the ruined bills from Good Time that have the fucking buy pack on them.
They're gonna get like just a grab bag of like outer boroughs treasures.
They're gonna get a 10% of a Planet Fitness in Queens, and then they're gonna get like a huge shipment of like the losing Super Bowl team's championship merchandise.
Yeah, you kill this ambassador, you get to meet Mark Sanchez.
So hilarious. If for anyone else, this would be a.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember when
it's a big, huge story.
Giuliani was like he was caught on taping like, I just need some money. Let's just squeeze somebody. Let's just squeeze the people from Abu Dhabi.
And again, like the people defending Trump all-star team. Bedpan mouth himself, Rudy Giuliani, who's again like all of these guys, sundowning, doddering, just sliding into dementia, drooling on TV and rambling incoherently. Yeah. Then, our boy Alan Dershowitz, bringing in Alan. That is when you're super innocent of something, you get Alan Dershowitz on your side, which is great because the only other times he's not on TV defending Trump, he's denying raping children.
Right.
So
they goes to him on Tucker, and he's like, and by the way, getting a massage from your niece is okay. And they're like, Alan, this is about the impeachment. Oh, right, totally innocent. By the way, it's anti-Semitic not to own a Soda Stream. Thank you, Alan.
I've never had sex with any woman outside of my immediate family.
It's like Tucker is like. So if Tucker is like fully on board with this Nazi shit, it is brilliant for him to have Alan Dershowitz on because if you have never seen a Jew in your life before, which I'm sure like a lot of Tucker's viewers haven't, and that's your first guy, just the ugliest and most annoying man of all time.
Yeah. And also one of the most like manifestly evil human beings alive.
Evil, annoying, hideous. Hello, Tucker. I'm here to I have notes of every massage I've ever gotten, and we're gonna go through them. I didn't come in most of them.
And he's hanging out now with Ken Starr.
Which is
hilarious, because he literally presided over an impeachment where there was no crime, and now is saying that doing all the crime is not an impeachable offense. Yeah. But the only other time he worked with Dershowitz on a case was Jeffrey fucking Epstein.
So good. So good.
How do the Q people walk around without their heads just splitting in half?
This country owns.
Yeah. I
love this country.
Like, I mean, it's hilarious on its face, and like there are so many crimes that he should be impeached for. But I don't give a fuck because the Democrats suck. This whole impeachment thing is a dog. Yeah. It's not helping them at all. Or again, most importantly, making it at all likely that Trump will be removed from office.
20 Republicans would have to vote to remove him.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
20 guys who would just be putting a giant bullseye on their head to say any fucking used car dealer or like local cop who got off for shooting a black guy or like weatherman to just run against them and win by saying he fucking removed our friend, our big boy that we love.
The only way to remove Trump from office is in this election in November.
Yes.
That's the only fucking way to do it, or else you're going to be stuck with it forever, maybe.
Oh, we got rid of Trump, and now we have a President Pence.
Yeah. So, but
who can preside over like this bubble economy without all of the culture war shit that pisses people off.
But to that point, though, that if we all agree that the only if you care about getting this obviously criminal monster out of the job of president of the United States, the only way that you're going to do that, you can whine all you want about what's fair or just or America or any of that, all that bullshit. The only way you're going to do it is through an election, and you have to beat him at the ballot box, right? Yep. To that point, though, there is an issue I want to talk about that, like, if our boy Bernard gets the nomination or any Democrat running against Trump, there's an issue that they're going to have to contend with. And that is, Trump is, the election hasn't started for him yet.
Yes.
It's just like he's gonna when he starts campaigning, and he's previewing an issue now at the rallies that whoever the Democratic nominee is going to have to contend with. And honestly, I'm worried about it. They're going to have an answer for this. The issue, of course, I'm talking about is the ever decreasing power of America's toilets.
I mean,
Yes.
it really is
And
the kitchen table issue of America.
This
Yes.
honestly, like he's going to hit the campaign trail. He's going to hit it hard, and the issue he's going to talk the most about is that our dumps are just not flushing anymore.
Our
No,
big,
yeah.
fucking sweaty cubic protein dumps aren't going down into these.
You got to.
We don't want to go duty.
You have to flush 3, 4, 5 times. The dumpsters they're not going away.
And he hasn't even he has an October surprise about washing machines and dryers.
Yeah.
That's
No, he loves talking about washing
terrifying.
machines now. Whereas he says, does anyone used to have the old washing machines? You press the button, it goes boom, it explodes.
You open it, and there's a big gust. And then, once again, he is describing a commercial because he's never
He's there that was
seen a washing machine.
that was the and when do you think Donald Trump has ever put his finger on a dishwasher?
And never.
Zero times.
0 times. No, but he's like, you open the dishwasher and all the scrubbing bubbles would come out and talk to you. So he's
And you put in the detergent that looked like Homer Simpson.
He's hitting hard that because of I assume what are tighter regulations on wastewater, that dishwashers and toilets are not as powerful as they used to be. And I gotta say, Bernie Sanders, whoever, better have a fucking response to this, because I think that this is an issue that Americans will really respond to and will really resonate with them. And not only that, if Bernard does get the nomination, Trump will be able to do his version of Bernie Sanders' campaign pitch, which is that, broadly speaking, over the last 40 years, the productivity of American workers has risen dramatically while wages have remained stagnant. It's a very important thing that he talks about, and it sums up a lot of stuff, and that's a meat and potatoes issue that people understand and relate to. Everyone's working harder for less money than they ever have before, even if you have a good job, technically. Trump, I think, is going to reverse engineer that exact same pitch, but make it about shitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to just say, remember, 40 years ago, the toilets were strong. Over the last 40 years, the size of our dumps have gotten bigger. The toilets stayed the same.
The portions are getting larger. We're eating more. The dumps, they're huge.
Our dumps are not going down the toilets. Sometimes we have to use our hands. We have to poop in the shower and use our feet to push it down the drain.
Trump hasn't even brought out his hairspray stuff yet.
That killed.
No, they love that.
Those
The
coal
base loves
miners in
that.
West Virginia loved it when he complained about the hairspray not holding as well as it used to. A real thing that happened, and I still cannot get my head around.
That is one of the greatest things that's ever.
So
a bunch of salt of the earth coal miner ass guys who would disown a gay son, and this big boy is up there going, the spray used to work so good. Oh,
No, but
you
I mean,
put it in your hair.
I can see what's going to happen though. Bernie Sanders campaign people, if you're listening, you got to start gaming
Yeah.
for this now, because Bernie's going to get out there and he's going to be talking meat and potatoes, economics, healthcare, jobs, wages, unions, things like that. Trump's going to come out. He's going to talk about how your dumps don't go down the toilet anymore.
Bernie-
And he's going to promise to change it. And if you don't have a good answer for that, you're going to get stitched up.
Bernie keeps talking about the meat and potato issues, but I ask you, where do the meat and potatoes end up? That's right, the toilet, and they won't go down because the toilets don't work anymore.
Sometimes I come back to the toilet 12 hours, 2-3 days later, there's still duty in it. It's still floating around. It won't go away. It won't go away. Back when America used to be strong, the duty, you could wipe with a whole roll of toilet paper. You hit the foot, you go boom.
You might get
it all
Virgil's
boom bang
vote with this,
bing.
honestly.
It all goes down.
You might
the drain.
actually get Virgil's vote off of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
He could split the coalition here.
I
It's
heard there's
dangerous.
a video where James O'Keefe goes to Bernie's house and he has to flush his toilet 9 times.
There you go.
The last thing he's going to propose is that everybody's house gets the toilets at department stores and mall, the big whoosh ones.
Yeah.
The industrial ones.
Yeah.
Industry, exactly. And this is an issue that matters to Americans. Our dumps are huge and our infrastructure cannot deal with it.
What are we going to do? with the doo-doo.
Exactly. So, again, if you're the Sanders campaign or really any Democratic strategist out there, please start thinking
Get on the whiteboard with us. Get on the brown board with us.
Please start thinking about the toilet issue.
Matt Brunig, we need some duty graphs.
Yeah, People's Policy Project, get on this. People's Poopacy Project.
Poo-poo project.
The Poo-poo Project.
The poo-poo project, Triple P. All right, well, that does it for today. Oh, we've got some tour dates we should big up. Okay, tour dates. Let's run through it. February 1st, Iowa City, Iowa, at the Engelbert Civic Theater. That's the closest one. We were like Matt Virgil and I and Chris. We are heading to New Hampshire Iowa. We are heading to Iowa next week. We will be there through the caucus, doing the live show on February 1st in Iowa City. Then February 9th in Derry, New Hampshire, at the Tupelo Music Hall. Then February 18th in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the House of Blues, Las Vegas. Then February 23rd in San Diego, California at the Observatory North Park. Then 2 shows in Los Angeles, an early and a late show on February 25th at the Lodge Room in Echo. The late show has already sold out. Oh, so the late show in LA already sold out. Tickets still available for the early show. Then February 28th in Sacramento, California at Ace of Spades. And finally, February 29th in San Francisco, closing out our 2020 primaries and caucuses tour, San Francisco, California, at the Palace of Fine Arts Theater. If you are in any of those states, I hope to see you there. And last but not least, please, if you haven't done so already, buy our short film about the Iowa State Fair. It is very prescient to this moment we are currently living in, and will be a sort of a test run for a larger film project that we are developing about the 2020 campaign and election. So, the movie is available at iowagoodvibes.com. Watch the trailer, download it today for the low price of $2.99. But that does it for us this week. Like I said, hope to see you on tour.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.
See ya.